We're rolling.
Oh, we're rolling?
We're rolling.
Oh, shit.
Yep, I know.
Yes.
Here we go.
Some rock and roll shit back here.
Here we go.
Episode 10, episode 9?
Episode 10, I think.
Still not canceled.
Still not canceled. Thank you for not canceling us.
Still not canceled.
Thank you.
We're not canceled because Jeff very wisely helps us avoid topics.
I just steer you. When you start going like this, and I'm like, I'm course correction. That's my job, is course correction. Course correction on Brandon.
Not right now. I had a thought while I was 2 flight bites deep at the Coldplay concert, right? A bunch of, awkwardly dressed dudes in their 40s getting romantic with their book talk girlfriends over yellow. I was there. I'm not hating, right? And the flight bites kicked in, and I had 2 thoughts. The first one was, I've only seen 5 black people here.
That was my first question, by the way.
But we all gave each other the, yeah, right? I fuck with Coldplay. And number 2 was, dads are underrated for romantics. We are. We're fucking underrated for being romantic, man.
Yeah.
I saw dude right next to me, cold, man, probably like 52 years old, right? Reached out, his lady, picked her up, yanked her almost, right? Just grabbed her and just like, swayed with her for like 3 minutes. Feeling it. And I'm like, that's some romantic shit,
locked
right?
in. They're locked in.
He may not be good with giving out the birthday cards with the sentimental, words in it.
Probably not.
He doesn't recite poetry, but the man, he knew a moment when he saw it,
He made a deposit in the romance bank.
Yeah, he made a deposit in the romance bank.
With his woman. Yeah, it's awesome. I love that.
I joke with my wife. I said, it's kind of easy being romantic in 2025. All I got to do is go on TikTok and find a video of like 2 rabbits playing in a field and send it to her and be like, baby, that's us.
Do that with my wife literally multiple times a day. We're sharing stuff.
That's us, baby.
Yeah, that's
there. That's how we feel, right?
That's it.
So I feel like we've been serious lately. There's a lot of serious stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
Like being a dad is some serious stuff. But 90% of my day with the kid and the wife isn't serious, right? It's me just trying to make them laugh and entertain them and like get through the day.
Yeah.
Right? I want you to drop your best dad joke on me.
Why did the Scarecrow win an award?
Why did the Scarecrow win an award? I don't know why.
Because he was outstanding in this field.
Oh, that's good. That's good. See, I like a little pun. I like a little pun, right?
Dude, people, I don't know what came first, like chicken or the egg. What came first? Punny humor or dad jokes?
I think it's the same thing, right?
It's synonymous to me.
It's synonymous to me, right?
Yeah.
The one my go-to, when we first adopted the kid, right? She was a little, standoffish sometimes, right? So my way of trying to break the ice was every day I would drop her off from school. I would tell her a dad joke every day. Just wear her down through like a battle of contrition.
Erosion.
Yes. I am consistent if nothing else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you the joke that broke her. I'll never forget it. It's the proudest moment of my life as of today. She's getting out, she's fussy, whatever. She's not talking. And I go, she's ready for it too. She's tensing up. She knows the dad is coming. And I go, why? Hold on, I'm going to make sure I deliver this perfectly. Why, when the duck went to the therapist, did he tell her he was so depressed? And she looks at me and she's like, why? I said, I've got you. I go, well, he found out life wasn't all it's quacked up to be.
Oh my God.
And for the first time ever, she belly laughed. Like,
that's awesome.
Genuinely laughed.
That's
right?
awesome.
And I said, I've got you now, right? And I think that is the point of the dad joke. It's an homage to how we're willing to look silly as shit to bring you happiness.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's at the core of the dad joke. It's like the stupider I look and sound, the better. Because it's like a signal to those around you of like, I'm willing to pie my face.
Right.
If it makes you laugh for even 3 seconds.
Right. Well, the greatest sound to a dad is their kids' laughter.
Yes.
Greatest from when they're an infant to when they're a teenager and beyond.
Yes.
If you're hearing your kids laugh, nothing makes you feel better.
Nothing close.
Nothing even close.
Because it's so hard, right? Because they don't want to laugh. They I don't know what it is about kids, but there's like, because I can't take myself back to that time anymore of why I was so angry and like
angsty
all the time. I don't remember what I was so angsty about, right? It's probably, figuring out how the world works, whatever. But they take it upon themselves to be like, not just your harshest critic, like they're trolls for your jokes. Like you tell a great joke and they're the first person to be like, womp, womp, womp. Yeah. That was a good one. So when you actually get them to laugh, you know that you have not just told a funny joke, you've told a joke so good that you busted through that. Like
absolutely. My kids have both mastered the technique of saying okay in a way that dismisses me, but they think it appeases me. And for the longest time it did, but lately I've been like, are you just saying okay to get me to shut up? And basically it's like, yes. It's like, I'm acknowledging the fact, Dad, that you think you said something cool or funny, but you really didn't. But I'm going to give you like a little kind of tofu flavored response back and say, okay.
Do you know why that's so funny to me? Because I feel like before the show that just happened to me.
Oh, it did?
I was like, Dad, do you think this topic is good? And you were like,
okay.
That's okay.
That's okay. Yeah, well, you're like, I didn't know. You're poker face. I don't know how you are or not.
Oh, shit.
From the mouths of babes. I learned from the best. I learned from my kids.
Kids are the best trainers.
Absolutely.
On TikTok right now, there's a huge topic, right? Because, good Lord, people can't figure this dating thing out. And there's a big topic. I don't know if you've seen it or not. I don't know if our TikToks cross section. Right?
Lay it on me.
One day we'll have to figure this out. What do you bring to the table? Right? There's a big thing where guys are like, well, what do these girls even bring to the table? And then obviously in reverse, girls are like, what do guys bring to the table?
Yeah.
Right? So I wanted to definitively lay it out today. What, not guys, but like dads bring to the table. Right? Because I think a lot of it goes unnoticed. We're not just a check and dinner on the table. I mean, that's a huge part of it, right? Like, I don't know if your dad hit you with this one about like, I keep the lights on in this place. What more do you want from me? That whole spiel. I think right?
Yeah.
When you're a kid, you're like, that's it. Put a roof. Like, now that I'm older, I'm like, shit, a roof, lights, food, water, that's 90% of my bills, right?
Transportation.
Transportation, right? I'm essentially your go-to for everything in this life, right? What is it that dads bring to the table?
I think it depends on the chronological age of the dad. Because if you're a younger dad, you don't have the life experience yet. So you're flying by the seat of your pants.
Yeah.
You're flying like pilots call it instruments only, where it's like if they're flying at night, you're flying instruments only. You don't know where if a mountain's going to come up. You don't know if there's a bunch of clouds or all that stuff, right? Instrument only. You're more an instrument only dad when you're younger.
Yeah.
And as you get older and you have more life experience, but then also as you get older with your children as they age, you both are getting more experience. So that dynamic is pretty fluid in terms of what do you bring to the table. I think that a younger dad or a dad that's just beginning, regardless of your age, if your kid is like from birth to let's say 4 or 5, 6 years old, you're just doing the basics, like making sure the kid hasn't pooped their pants, making sure that they're healthy and that they feel safe and they're fed and they're protected. Like the bare minimums in the beginning, I think is all a dad is doing.
Making sure your wife isn't losing her.
Absolutely. Making sure that your wife or the mother of your kids is okay financially and protected and feels like she can rely on you with things. And as you get older and you've been around in your kids' lives longer, I think then you're more not a friend, but you're more of a confidant. Your kids can come to you if they have a challenge or a problem, if you've developed that type of relationship to go, hey, I'm experiencing this. What do you think?
Yeah.
Like I've told my daughter, she'll be 16 next month. As she gets older, not chronologically, but just as she gets older psychologically, I see her getting more stuff, which is happening literally on a daily basis. I share more things with her about my youth.
Yeah.
I share more things with her about like the mischief I used to get into.
Mischief?
Uh-huh.
What kind of mischief was Jeff Fargo getting into in upstate New York?
Alex knows right now the story because I just told her this story when I was in high school, Canandaigua Academy, go class of 87, go Braves. And there was our lockers for all year, up our senior year, was Jeff Fargo, then Janet Farnsworth, then Matt Farrell. Fargo, Farnsworth, Farrell. Janet was a very nice girl, but she'd get annoying sometimes, and we're guys. So one of the last week of school, Matt and I were like, let's do something to Janet. And Matt says, let's put a fish in her locker. So we live on the North Shore. It's Canandaigua, New York, is on the North Shore of a lake. So we went down to Kershaw Park, and we got a sucker, a dead sucker on a rock. It's like this big. And it's an awful fish. They're horrible fish. They're parasitic. They're terrible. We got that. We put it in a Wegmans bag. We bring it up to the school. This is back before, you can go into a school anytime you wanted to back then. This is the late 80s. I had looked at her opening up her locker earlier that day, so I had memorized her combination.
You're like a world-class thief.
Dude, this is way before Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible, man.
It's like Ocean's 11.
Dun, 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 dun. And there's Big Jeffy. And so we opened up her locker, we threw the fish in and ran out of there.
What happened was the result.
That night, the night custodian could smell something in the hallway. He tracked it down with his nose and found the fish, pulled it out, and then that morning, we're all in homeroom together, alphabetical order, and the teacher gets a call. Please send Jeff Fargo and Matt Farrell to Mr. Starowitz's office, who is the vice principal. And I'm crapping my pants because I'm like, I don't get in trouble that much. And I'm like, what? We're walking in the office, and I go, what are we doing? And Matt, who is a professional troublemaker, says, don't admit anything. Deny.
This dude was from the streets.
Dude, this is way before the OJ trial. Deny. So we go into the office, and Mr. Starowitz looks at both of us. He goes, my two fishermen. And I was like, and also, we were given leniency because I was a good football player. Matt was a good lacrosse player. So there was favoritism at our school.
Yeah.
Blatant favoritism. And
isn't the best.
We never admitted to it, but he said, don't ever do that again. You need to apologize to Janet. The custodian had to find it. It smelled up the whole hallway. Don't do that again. But there was part of him, of the vice principal, thought it was funny.
Oh, he had to.
He thought it was hilarious. And I mean, it wasn't, we weren't spray painting. It wasn't this giant act of violence going on. We didn't set something on fire. None of that.
Yeah.
We just put a dead fish in her locker. I think still in the bag.
How'd they know it was you?
Just because of the history of Matt Farrell and I, we weren't big troublemakers, but we were both rambunctious. We were the guys that were like, if something was going on, we weren't in the middle of it, but we were like on the periphery, goading the other people to do it. And this is before cell phones. Like there was nobody filming anything, so it was just people going ham on stuff going on back then.
But I think, all jokes aside, because I think that's a funny prank, right? All jokes aside, I think that's one of the valuable things is like your kids may get up to mischief. In fact, there's most likely they can get to mischief, right?
Yeah.
And being able to properly react to it, both as someone who used to do the same thing and also someone now who knows the consequences.
Exactly right.
Right? Be able to more properly react. I think knowledge, like real, what's the word I'm looking for? Real common sense knowledge, life experience. We say it all the time.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the most underrated things. In fact, we're going to talk about it a little bit later about why is it that people with no life experience always seek out those with life experience, right? I think I've talked about it here before about like, when a girl's a freshman, she's looking to date seniors, right? And then it's always somebody older with more experience that can teach them things, right? I think that's the number one thing dads bring to the table is like most dads I know were risk takers growing up. They were people who like put themselves into situations that either they got out of trouble or had to deal with the consequences of trouble.
Yeah.
And either way, I think both of those things are valuable.
It's something that, like I said before, I'm letting my daughter know certain stories about me as she gets old. I'll do the same thing with my son, with Jack. And I have hundreds of stories I have not told him yet. Literally hundreds of stories that I'm dying to tell them. And of stuff that I could never get away with now. Like if you put a fish in someone's locker today, oh my gosh, I'm triggered. I have a fish allergy.
Yeah.
I need to go to a therapist.
They'd be calling.
Oh, how dare that person? I'm going to put it on TikTok and shame that person. And like, you know, I'm going to get that person canceled. Yeah. And it's, you know.
Who are his parents? They must have shitty parents.
How dare he?
How dare you prick my daughter?
Yeah, how dare you put a giant sucker in my daughter's locker?
To run that joke in Vegas, do you know how dedicated he would have to be?
Well,
you had to go buy the fish.
So where are you going? Like, are you going to like Joe's Stone Crab? Are you going to like, we have a bunch of seafood restaurants, but, or you're going to schlep out to Lake Mead.
And bring back one of the dead body fish.
Bring a 55-gallon drum, and inside is a dealer from the Four Queens from 1967 that got whacked, you know, like casino. So it's just, again, it's geographical location, but to me, there's nothing wrong with having harmless. To me, it's like harmless fun. A lot of people these days are like, no, that's not harmless. That's aggressive behavior. It's toxic. You're being a narcissist. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm really not.
Having fun at other people's expense. As someone who grew up, you know, in like being a part of like certain girl circles, they love having fun at other people's expense, right? Gossip, rumors.
Absolutely.
Having fun at other people's expense. To this day, tell me what happens with your wife. I think every guy does this, right? We're not gossipers.
No.
But your wife turned you into her gossiping best friend.
I've had with my mom, the kid's mom, now to my wife, get angry with me because it asked me details about something and it would get so mad at me because I'm terrible at gossip. I'm not a detail guy. I'm so bad at it. And like, oh, how was your day? Good. Fern at work, I guess, got fired. She was had an affair with somebody in the mailroom. Really? What happened? I don't know. I just told you what I know.
He had an affair with somebody in the mailroom.
I just told you exactly what I know.
I thought I was being wordy.
I thought I was oversharing, actually. What was she wearing? Was she wearing provocative clothes? Who was the person? Is that person married? I don't know. I'm telling you exactly everything in the dossier that I know. I've just shared with you.
My wife didn't believe me because, you know, my brother has these big life changes, right? Big things going on. And she would ask me questions and I'd be like, what, he's going to the gym. She'd be like, how did you get that from that, right? So one day she heard a phone call with me and him. And it went like this. What's up? All right, yeah, peace. And she's like, oh, quick phone call. And I'm like, yeah, I think he's thinking about moving back to California. And I think he's going to start a business there. And she's like,
oh my gosh.
She's like, what? You got all that from
her head exploded.
3 words? And I'm like, yeah, that's how we talk.
Her head exploded. Yeah.
One of my favorite videos I just saw recently is a person in your exact situation where the girlfriend's like, honey, tell the camera what you just said. And he's like, what do you mean? Bill and Jane are getting married. And she's like, when? He goes, well, I don't know. Are we invited? Yeah. What's the date? I don't know.
Where are they registered?
I don't know. Are they getting married or out of town?
No,
I don't know.
Yeah.
All I ask is that they're getting married, you know?
We as men, I think this, and most dads are just horrible at details.
Details that we deem irrelevant.
Agreed. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I know my buddy's getting married. I know he's going to send me an invitation
with the
date on it. So I know I'll get it then.
That's all I need.
Right?
I'm good.
What does me talking about it now benefit us? Right? How does that benefit us?
What are you going to wear to the wedding reception? What color tie are you going to wear so I can match my dress to what tie you're going to have on? I don't know.
I don't know.
Honey, I'm lucky if I could wake up in the morning and have a firm bowel movement. I'm 55.
True.
That's all I care about.
True.
Right? If I can go up, have a good poop after my coffee, right as rain.
Are you a post-coffee pooper?
Oh, who isn't?
Do you need the coffee? Like without the
Yes.
coffee, are you like,
Yeah. And there's something with coffee that
what is that magic?
I don't know what it is, but there's something about coffee that there's some elixir in there, some wizardry
It's
from the Colombian people.
my God.
That I think the most regular people on the planet are Colombians.
They have to be.
Because that's where like all the good coffee, that and like Kona, that's where all the good coffee comes from.
I have grown very fond of Mexican coffee.
You've talked about that. Where's the Mexican? Because I want to take Brandy.
There's this place called Schimo's Coffee right on Las Vegas Boulevard, right in the old antique mall.
Okay.
The shitty antique
Yeah,
mall.
yeah.
There's a place called Schimo's Coffee in there, and the woman brings coffee straight out of Mexico City, and this is like nectar from the gods.
You said it's awesome.
It's awesome. They do a spicy
great.
Mexican milk, and I'm telling you, if I can drink that in the morning, bathroom time is man, it is
Gone. Yeah.
freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm getting the entire night steak dinner
Yeah.
done and gone, move on with my day.
You're
kinda
like the
stuff.
Enola Gay dropping the first atomic bomb over Hiroshima.
Yeah, it's a war
It's
zone.
wonderful.
But I feel better.
Oh God, yes.
But I feel better.
Yeah.
So I think dads bring life experience, and I think we bring humor, entertainment,
Agreed.
right? Now, pause. That is not to say girls aren't funny, because we discussed before, women are funny. If you ever get a bunch of moms
Absolutely.
around each other,
They're hilarious.
they're funny as fuck.
Yeah.
The difference is their jokes are dark.
Yeah.
Mom jokes are dark.
You know why?
Why is that?
Mom trauma.
Mom trauma.
Mama trauma.
Mama trauma.
Mama trauma.
Yeah.
They share mama trauma.
Mama trauma. They do.
Oh
They
God, yes.
do. Right? And it's because, and I get it. From their perspective, I get it. You don't ever want to seem like an ungrateful mother.
Correct.
Right? You never want to bitch about how tough it is or the challenge of being a mom. Because
Absolutely.
there's so many women out there who want to be moms, who aren't, who can't, whatever.
Absolutely.
So they have to hold a lot of it in, right? And I think that's the difference between dad jokes and mom jokes. Dad jokes are us being goofy, funny, entertaining.
Absolutely.
We have to be serious so much of the day that letting out some of the goofball in us with dad jokes. Moms have to be so friendly, have to be so goody-goody, so like they're the emotional support for the whole family.
Mhm.
So when they finally get a chance to unleash that dark sense of humor,
Yeah.
and moms, look at me. Look at my big chubby face. That shit is so sexy. When moms
It
start telling the dark humor, that's the sexiest shit in the world.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, you're evil too?
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah. It is something that, and I think it's mom trauma that they've
Yeah.
experienced because they've literally created life
Yeah.
from their bodies.
Metal. How metal?
Yeah.
How metal?
It's insane to me,
Yeah.
which is, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And so because of that, moms have this bond. Like if you go to like Town Square here, when I was younger, when I was here and I'd like meet someone there for work for coffee at Coffee Bean, and you'd see the moms, there'd be like a whole caravan of moms there with their strollers, and they're all like going for walks, and they're all doing like group yoga in the middle of the thing. They're slaying some just nasty stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Just nastiness.
Oh, yeah.
Going back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of dark, deep humor. Half of them probably have like a gin and tonic or something.
in the sippy cup.
Absolutely.
No,
For
no, no.
themselves, absolutely.
What moms have to go with. They told you Dave Chappelle tells the greatest joke of all time. I used to have to make money in the hood, I had to wash lots of money for drug dealers. So I would do comedy shows for drug dealers, and they would pay me absurd amounts of money because they had to get rid of it. And he's like, one day I'm walking home with $25,000 in a backpack, and I realized, oh shit, everybody wants what I have. God damn, is this what girls feel like? And it's such an epiphany, right?
It's the truth.
But I think, and we've touched on this before, I think that's another thing dads bring to the table. We are always acutely aware of our wives, of our daughters, especially guys with daughters. We are always acutely aware that they are carrying around something valuable, and we have signed up to die for that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Part of being a dad, and you guys, if we're giving you some whiplash, part of being a dad is that, listen, sometimes shit's funny. The reason dads, I think, are so funny is because I don't know when it clicks for guys. I don't know when it clicked for you. In fact, I'd be curious about this. When did it click for you that like your main responsibility in life is to die for other people?
The day I saw my daughter.
Is that it's
the day she was born.
Yeah.
My whole life changed the day she was born and she looked at me.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah. That was it. My whole life then, it's like there's this tectonic shift in your life that you're like, okay, this is who I need to protect and provide for and love, and you'll never love anything or anyone more than your kids. I mean, yes, your spouse, yes, but that's a different love. There is much more of a protective type of love that you have.
Yeah.
Like I would take a bullet for my wife in a second.
Yeah.
But my kids, like I would throw myself on a grenade. I would step in front of a bus.
Yeah.
Whatever it took for them to be okay.
Yeah, it's like,
absolutely.
I think the best way I've heard somebody put it is like, I would take a bullet for my wife. I would put the bullet in me for the kids.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, right?
Without question.
No hesitation.
Without
right?
question.
And whenever I hear these, I don't engage in people's social media because I know it's the losers of the world arguing with the losers of the world, right? But whenever people talk about what guys bring to the table, I go, is anybody going to mention the part where we die? Where the Titanic sinks and they tell a group of men, you stay here.
Women and children first.
You stay here and watch this, right? Is anybody going to talk about the part where we die for you, right? It's become, we have normalized men dying. Like we've normalized everything about men. How many jokes are people allowed to make about men getting sexually assaulted in prison? Sexual assault's the number one topic you cannot talk about on any platform. It's like off limits. You have to call it SA on TikTok so you don't get banned. But boy, if I drop a soap in the shower joke,
it's hilarious.
Right?
Soap on a rope.
We've normalized violence that men go through. We've normalized it, right? And like, I know ultimately in a big macro manner, this is the consequence of peace. The consequence of peace is you forget war, right? But guys never forget, right? I never forget, never. The second I take my wife and my kid outside, it's always on. It never goes away that like, oh shit. I know I'm in Henderson, Nevada, and an armed gunman coming in here and going crazy is very low, right? I'm in America. I'm in one of the safest cities in the world. But like, it's still there, right? I don't get to pretend like it's not there. I don't get to pretend like that's not my duty, my job, And it just frustrates me. Annoyance is probably more the correct word. It annoys me that it's not the number one thing that gets brought up. Even other men, young men especially, never say it. They never say, hey, I'm expected to die from you. What am I allowed to expect from you in return?
I wonder if younger dads are even aware of that's their role.
Ooh.
Because we've softened so much as a culture. I really question, do younger dads have that awareness to take a bullet for their kids, to jump in front of a speeding train and push the kids out of the way, to without hesitation, it's muscle memory.
Yeah.
You're going to protect your kids at all costs.
And your wife.
And your wife.
Do you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Damn it. See, you told me that we have to tiptoe around certain things, right? So let me try to put this in a way that's like, whenever I see a guy and he's massive and jacked, or he's like a UFC fighter or a boxer, someone capable of like real physical damage, like it's obvious this man can like, in 5 seconds.
He can take care of business.
It's over, right? And his wife is in something like scantily clad or skimpy. I'm like, hey, brother, good for you. Because ain't nobody in the world, as pretty as she is, the violence that you are capable of ain't worth that,
Absolutely right?
But when I just see a normal looking mother trucker like me, and his girl's like half naked, I'm like, I feel like you're not protecting her because nobody's scared of you, right? And like in this situation, the juice is worth the squeeze.
Correct.
And so I think your assumption that the younger generation doesn't understand the protective nature of what they're signing up for, I think you're 100% spot on. I think you're 10,000% spot on. And I think it's something that, whether they know it or not, I think they're acutely aware. I think a lot of younger women are you'll hear them say like, oh, guys aren't masculine anymore. Guys aren't masculine anymore. And I think this is something they mean. That inherent, like, I have to protect you from all comers thing. I don't think it's pervasive anymore as it used to be.
I think that younger wives have a challenge right now that they don't want another kid to raise.
Yeah.
They want a man.
Yeah.
They want a man. They want to feel protected. They want to feel safe.
Yeah.
They want their children to feel safe around a man who is capable of protecting them.
Yeah.
I think that's huge right now.
It is.
Huge.
You have perfectly, and we're so, man, I fucking love it. Because you don't even know it. You don't even know it. That's why we're laughing. He doesn't even know it, but you've perfectly, succinctly walked me into my ultimate point I want to make about what dads bring to the table. And it's a word called interdependence. You said these girls don't want to raise another child. You're right. But on the other hand, young men are dealing with women who pride themselves in independence, as if that's the peak of the pyramid, right? Your parents' job was to make you an independent person. In fact, we lament about it all the time. I'm raising you to not need me, right? It's the shittiest job, but it's a job, right? You should be independent by like 18, 19 years old. The first time you pay your own bills, feed yourself, you should learn independence, right? Like being proud at independent at 27 is like a huge red flag to me, right? If you're proud of being independent at 27, like shit, at 19 years old, I was paying my own rent. Like I was learning how to feed myself, like what are you doing here? I think young guys are looking for interdependence. And I think this is the number one thing dads bring to the table. I've met you and your wife. Your wife is she can work for herself. She knows how to handle life, handle bills, right? And you have worked on your own. You've done a million jobs. You've been successful. Jeff Fargo, you are successful with or without other people.
Correct.
Right? But because you guys are both so capable, you guys have developed interdependence where you can rely and count on one another. You're so independent that now you can depend on each other. And I think that's where a lot of young guys are struggling. Young women don't want to date children. Young men don't want to date independent ladies, right? It's like we got to depend on each other. And ultimately, I think that's what dads bring to the table is that feeling of like, hey, I know you've been independent your whole life, but now you can depend on me.
The greatest thing a wife can do to a husband is let them in.
Keep going on that. Help me with that.
Let them in for all of they've had to do so many things, or they do so many things on their own as a mom, that to be able to share those responsibilities, even if it's just venting, that they've had a long day taking care of the kids or a long day at work, that they don't have to keep all that in. That they have someone there that's their ride or die, and they say, shut up, I just want to vent.
Yeah.
I don't need you to fix me, because guys are fixers. We try to fix them.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Yeah.
And there's times where Brandy, where if she's upset and I'll say, what can I do? And she'll say nothing. And I do nothing.
That's a good way. I like
that.
What can I do? Nothing. Yeah.
What can I do for you right now?
Yeah.
I don't give her any direction beyond that. And she might say, I need this. Or most of the time, because she's so independent, she says, I need nothing. I'm working through this on my own. And I just say, I love you and I'm here for you. If you want to talk, if you want to listen, I will listen to you and love you no matter what.
Do you ever say, hey, let me in?
Oh yeah, I'm always saying that. Because that's, to me, at least it makes me more comfortable that there's a higher level of trust that you have.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, it's funny. Once an episode, you say something that like sends my mind racing, which is why I love doing these, right? I like everything around me being peaceful. I grew up with a lot of, let's call it turbulence. I grew up with a lot of turbulence, right? Things I couldn't control.
Yeah.
So now my house is a controlled state of peace, right? I like making sure everybody's happy. And when the tempestuous zephyrs of her emotion come gusting in, it's like, a war zone breaks out. I'm like, right? And my first reaction, I think that's why guys are such fixers, is it's like, how do I bring my palace back to peace? Right? And I think we have to be okay with a little bit of turbulence.
And sometimes your wife, your kids need to experience that turbulence to get through it, because then the gratification of getting through that is far greater because they did it on their own.
Yeah. I'm going to try to phrase it as succinctly as possible, because I think this is a great clip for people. What I think a lot of men want women to know is it's okay to dump your baggage on me. I am sure these shoulders are broad and I can carry it all, right? It seems crazy to you. I think this is ultimately, if I was to, project this to the whole world, to the young women of the world who maybe have never grown up with a dad, never grown up with a male role model. When you meet the guy for you, he is stronger than you ever realized, and you can dump all that baggage on him.
There's a great line in Mormon scripture, because I was Mormon for 13 years, so there's some stuff I still
lay it
remember.
on me. Lay it on me.
My yoke is heavy, but the burden is light.
My yoke is heavy, but the burden is light.
The yoke is heavy, my burden is light. And it is, oxen have a yoke. It's a big wooden thing that sits on their heads.
Yeah.
And so if you're plowing a field, you've got your oxen, the yoke is on there, and that's how you steer. Like with a horse, there's a bit in their mouth.
Okay.
With oxen, they have a yoke that goes on. And it's heavy, it's wood. But the burden of that, having that heaviness, is light.
Yeah.
So, my yoke is heavy, but the burden is light.
Yeah. We are oxen. We are the oak tree that no matter how strong the winds of your zephyrs blow, I'm still standing.
Always.
Right? Girls know that you're stronger than them. When my wife goes to the gym, she can't bench press the damn bar, and I can, rack them up, right? I'm getting back in the gym, y'all. Leave me alone. I'm working on it, right?
He's putting up plates. He's putting up plates.
Hey, I hit 3 plates for the first time since high school. So let's go. Rep that shit multiple times, right? The first time my wife saw me rep 315, she was just like, oh, no fucking way. I'm not even close, right? And that matters. I'm not saying that doesn't matter. But I know so many guys, buff as hell, yoked, but have the emotional tolerance of a 6-year-old. The second that their wife's zephyrs begin to blow, they blow back. And it's like, well, no, you gotta, brother, what are all those muscles for if you're not gonna stand here and take it?
Exactly right.
Right? What are all those muscles for if you can't stand here and take the wind?
Yeah.
Right?
The worst thing a dad could do is give up.
Yes.
It's the absolute worst thing ever.
Yes.
And you see it all the time.
Yes.
That they're clapping back at their spouse or clapping back because of the kids. If you're a dad and you openly complain about your children and air your dirty laundry, you're a shitty father.
Oh, yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah, no.
You don't air your dirty laundry. There's always times as a dad you're going to be frustrated with your kids. Always. That's part of life. It's getting through that.
Yeah.
And finding a healthy way to either go back to their mom or your wife or a friend or whatever, therapist, and have a constructive conversation. But I see all the time online, those people complaining about their kids. I've had on Fargo Talks, I've had 2 of the biggest teen moms from MTV come on. And the comments,
you, Jeff Fargo, I love you, brother. But that woman, moms don't pop off a lot, right? Usually when women pop off on social media, it's like single women, it's like angsty, outragey, whatever. You had moms out in force. Like, what does this harlot know about being a mom, right? If you shit talk your kids, like when moms shit talk their kids to other moms, that's the kind of mom jokes we're talking about, right? When you go on social media in front of millions of people and like badmouth your own kids or like let that air loose, like what are you doing?
People, I mean, there's 2. I had Farrah Abraham on and then Janelle Evans. Both of them, massive followings online. Both of them, teen moms but the visceral hatred that came in the comments was, I mean, the one, Janelle Evans on X, and I like Janelle. We had a great conversation. Like, she's a good person. The absolute hatred people have for this woman, and they're showing clips of her when she'd been drinking, and I'm like, oh my God.
Because you can't, there's nothing. If you think mom's fury at bad dads is high level, you should see the rage they have for bad moms.
Yeah.
It's unyielding.
I thought that the most aggressive demographic up until now was Black TikTok. I thought was the most aggressive. It's not. It's moms on X.
Oh, yeah.
1,000,000% is the most radioactive demographic on social media.
When you mean aggressive, you mean willing to challenge or willing to be outraged? Like, what do you mean when you say like moms on X are aggressive?
The absolute, and again, they're almost 99% of them hiding behind an anonymous account.
Yeah.
So no one knows who they really are.
Yeah.
So they can't ever be put themselves out there. They're never exposing themselves for who they are for anyone to look at their imperfections.
Yeah.
And they are coming out with just absolute hatred of the subject matter that is being posted and bringing in their opinion receipts.
I'm going to have to push back on this one. When I go live, okay, the biggest trolls I get use Black people and middle-aged moms as their fake profile, right? Because those two groups are the easiest ones to pretend to be a part of and outrage people, right? Now, that's a whole different topic for a whole different day. But I think both groups get a really bad rap online because of how many people purposely troll topics about them.
Absolutely.
Purposely say inflammatory things because, and I'm not saying this in a degrading way. Please understand this. I like that my wife and daughter are emotional. I don't want a house full of people like me walking around with the weight of the world on their shoulder talking about, you guys want chicken or teriyaki steak for dinner tonight? Hey, how'd your day go? It's fine. Knowing that I've got 10,000 traumas and anxieties running through my brain, right? I don't want a room full of people like me. Yeah. So when I say that, yeah, of course people are going to troll women because they're going to get more emotional about the things you're saying. I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm saying that about just how the world works.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it sucks because I think moms have a lot to say. And I think there's a lot of the views out there that pretend like they're for moms, but that's not what the moms I know are actually talking about. No. Right? The moms I know, and they're not talking about these fucking big political crisis topics. They got more important shit like, yo, my kid's 4 years old. Is the puking and pooping ever going to stop? Like, they got real problems.
I think that's why there's so many mom-related podcasts. We talked about this.
Yeah.
There's a million mom podcasts.
Yeah.
There really isn't any dad podcasts except for ours. There might be a couple out there, but none that I really found that were consistently putting out content.
No, because no one feels the need to pander to us.
No. Or no, there's no, except for here, a safe harbor.
Yeah.
For dads to come.
Not to pat ourselves on the back too much, but you and I are willing to take some pretty heinous blows to create a space for dads. We knew coming into this, sharing the thoughts and ideas that go through dad's head that haven't been publicly shared in 50, 60 years. No. We knew it was going to come with some blowback, right?
Absolutely.
But all of it is worth it every time we get that message with the king symbol. Hey, thank you, King. Right?
It's the best.
Listen. Because what do dads do? What is our greatest thing that we bring to the table? And we create safety for those around us. Mm-hmm. Right?
It's wonderful.
I played a date game. You ever played a date game with your wife where my wife's heard all my stories. She's heard all my jokes. So our dates usually involve me ordering things I know she likes, me ordering things I know I like. We eat as fast as possible so we can go home and either, have married sex or like play a board game with the kid or something like that, right? It's like a routine. This time out, I was like, what? We've been together 10 years now. Like, what about me? We played a cool game. Like, what have I done? How have I changed that you like now? And what part of me do you miss? Right?
That's great.
Right? I pulled this out of my ass. Very proud of myself, right? And she said, it's unexpected. I always felt safe around you because you're much bigger than me, and she's funny. She goes, if someone shoots at me, man, it's going to be hard to get around you. I said, thanks, baby. It's a fat joke.
It's true.
They got a lot of space to go through before that bullet's not leaving me. It's sticking right here.
You're safe, baby.
There's a lot of herbs and rye in there.
You're safe,
okay?
baby.
But she goes, I feel so safe around you. And it's not a physical thing. It's like, I feel comfortable sharing my hopes, my dreams, my frustrations, my childhood trauma. I feel safe around you. Yeah. No matter what I say, you're not going to lash out. You're not going to yell at me. You're not going to talk down to me. You've become a better communicator and a better listener. I said, hell yeah.
That's awesome.
I used to be we've talked about that. I used to be a yeller.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be a yeller, real bad. I grew up hearing my parents yell all the time, and it's just like the language you learn. I used to be a yeller, and you don't realize what traits you've kind of gotten rid of until someone puts it in your face like that, right? But we are oxen. What was the phrase again? What was the phrase from the Mormons?
My yoke is heavy, but the burden is light.
That's a bar. That's a rap bar. Straight up. Mormons got bars. Y'all don't know it, but Mormons got bars. We are oxen. We get called dogs a lot, right? We're oxen. We are load-bearing creatures. That's
torque.
What we're good
Lots
at.
Lots of torque.
Ladies, you don't need a therapist. I mean, maybe you need a therapist, but I'm telling you, you find a good man, you just lay all your shit on him.
You find a good man that loves you, that doesn't want to fix you, accepts you for who you are, and lets you organically grow within that relationship.
Yeah.
That's the man for you.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're a people watcher. You're an observer.
Absolutely.
Right? I'm a people watcher too.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite things to do is me and my wife will pop a couple flight bites and go down to the strip and just like watch different couples, right? Because if you're on the strip, you get to see couples from China, Japan, Missouri, wherever. You get to see just different couples, right? And you start to notice, no matter the race, gender, ethnicity, where they come from, all couples, especially the good ones, share like certain traits, right? My favorite one is the more innocent and pure the girl, the more dangerous her boyfriend or husband is, right? Like, I know a couple UFC fighters, and their wives are just like the softest, most elegant, innocent people, right? And I think some people may find this heinous because humanity is brutal. It's metal. It's children being ripped out of wombs and stuff like that, right? But to keep a woman pure and innocent, to keep the evils of the world away from her, you have to be a dangerous motherfucker, Jeff. You got to be a dangerous man, right? We talked about the predators who look for men, fathers who are absent or weak or something like that, right? When you see a 6'5" muscle-bound jock, ain't no little pedo in the world crazy enough for that. Right.
It's something that the woman gets to be herself.
Yeah.
Because she feels that she has protection.
Yeah. What's the old phrase? The more comfortable a woman feels, she starts to act like she was around her dad, and the more comfortable a man feels, the more he starts to act like he was around his mom, kind of thing, right? Do you feel like that holds true?
Yeah. Well, it depends on how functional your parents' upbringing was, because I cannot relate to that at all. No way. I mean, my mom did her best, but no. My dad and I have a great relationship now, but growing up, he wasn't around that much. He was in Cape Cod, and we were in upstate New York. But he did his best. Like I said, we have an awesome relationship now, knock wood. But I think that it comes down to like to bring it back to being a dad. We fail every day, but we get up again the next day and try again.
Yeah.
And like I'm an imperfect dad, but I love my kids perfectly.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to put it, right? One of my buddies just found out yesterday. I can't say his name. He asked me not to tell nobody, but a friend of mine found out that his girl's pregnant, right? And I could see behind the eyes of way too many beers that like terror had kicked in of like, I don't know how to fucking do anything.
Here it comes.
Right? Like, you're excited because it's like, oh, we're having a kid. And then it's like, oh my God, how do I do that? What do I do? Where are the books? Where are the manuals? How do I figure this out? Right?
Women are much more, I think, emotionally prepared for parenthood.
Well, they've been thinking about it for how long, right? I think there's a reason they play with dolls as kids and we don't, right? It's been like, what age do girls start playing with dolls for you? Like what? It's like 5, 6, 3, whatever, right? Young kids.
With my daughter, it was LPS, Littlest Pet Shops.
Little pet shops, right?
Yeah.
It's like they've been preparing. It's something, preparing sounds so bad. I'm going to get in so much trouble for this. But the idea goes through their head more than it does ours. Is that?
Oh, no, I think so. I think that the idea of, for women that want to be a mom, that they think about that much more than guys do. I think the biggest way a guy can get his shit together is when he's told by his woman, by his wife, partner, whatever, I'm pregnant.
That's the moment.
That's the moment.
Yeah. And
the real moment for me was when with Alex, we went at 3 months and saw the first ultrasound. And it was like, I melted. Like I'm when it comes to my kids and my kids, I'm a crier. I'm a baller, and not baller like in like lots of money. I mean like emotionally.
Kim Kardashian crying?
Yeah, the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And I really never was until I became a dad.
Yeah.
Then it's like, I'm an only child. It was all about me for so long. And now it's like, I have these two amazing human beings I help bring into the world.
Yeah.
And now the greatest show ever is ever ringside seat to them growing up. And they're hilarious and they're good kids. And do they make mistakes? Yes. I'll be the first one to pick them up, dust them off and say, off you go.
Off you go.
Go again, my friend. Go, go forth.
I was notorious as a kid that didn't cry at like funerals. Right? Could be friends, family members.
That's just cold.
I just wasn't a crier.
Cold-blooded.
Right? Like I felt so, therapists would love this, but I felt so vulnerable on the outside or the inside that I had to get something back. Like I didn't cry at my wedding. I was like, fucking everything in my head was, don't you fucking cry.
Yeah.
Right? I remember watching my kid do her drum final. She had been practicing all year for this thing. And she's out there giving it her all. And her team's not very good. But she cares so much. And I just started.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like uncontrollably. And it was just like, I very quickly was just like,
you hide it.
But it was just like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. This is overwhelming.
It's something that, like I said, I've always been in touch with my feelings.
Yeah.
But as you get older and there's more time behind you than in front of you,
yeah,
it makes that time as a dad even more precious.
Yeah.
And things, I think, as you could become I'm an older dad with younger kids, my priorities have changed.
Yeah. There's an innocence. I think it's a word that, man, that word never gets thrown around anymore because we live in a world where everybody's just presumed guilty, right? We live in a very inverted world where it's guilty. You have to prove yourself, anything.
Mm-hmm.
But there's an innocence with kids and with women behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Right? Forget the Cardi B's of the world. Forget the porn stars of the world. Forget women who have seen all there is to see in life.
Right.
I'm talking about just your everyday woman walking around the streets of America, right? There's a lot of innocence there.
Mhm.
And I think with innocence comes gullibility because they trust because they've never been hurt or harmed. Same way kids trust. When you've never been hurt or harmed, why wouldn't you trust? Everything good has happened to you, right? And I think that's why they gravitate towards, for better or worse, assholes. People who have been hurt, have hurt others, and can shelter them from that, right? I hope that I'm delivering this correctly,
You're good.
but innocence has to be protected because there's a lot of people out there that want to take that.
Innocence is something that is nowadays, I think, a rare trait.
Yeah.
And yeah,
We hate it. No, not we. I mean, you grew up with, let's say someone grew up with a very bad childhood where no one protected them, right? And you develop a hatred for other people who did have that. You don't mean to. I was there. I remember being 18, 19, 20, 21 and just wanting to, if I saw something innocent or someone who was gullible, I had to just bring them into the real world, right? I was brought into the real world at an early age. How dare you get to live this fucking life away from it, you know? I think social media has made that worse. And I think it's why we have to be ever more vigilant about protecting those innocent things, you know? Like, especially kids.
I know, social media glorifies everything. Social media shows the best of the best. How often does a dad post about how he got metaphorically, kicked in the gut by something that happened with his kids and how he overcame it, compared to a mom that metaphorically was kicked in the gut and came over it? You're going to see a lot more vulnerability from women online than men.
Female vulnerability is tolerated, right? Every man, I don't care who you are, every man has been in a situation where he thought he was allowed to be vulnerable around a girl. Could be his mom, first girlfriend, previous girlfriend, ex-wife, current wife. Every man's been in a situation where he was vulnerable and she used it against him. It's like being a tank. You're invulnerable, you have huge cannons. And you feel so stupid because you let the spy into the tank to destroy you from the inside, right? Like the only way that your tank is destroyable is if you open that hatch and let someone in.
Yeah.
But the only way to have a relationship is to open the hatch and let someone in. Isn't that fucked up? Isn't it beautiful? You're letting in your own destroyer, right? Because there is no relationship without vulnerability.
Correct.
But god damn, and I'm not saying all women, oh shit, I'm not going to get the moms of Twitter, X, Blue Sky, I'm not going to get riled up. But a lot of women do not like or know how to handle male vulnerability, especially if they didn't grow up without a dad.
Mm-hmm. Oh, especially.
There's nothing that gets oh my God, here goes the clip. Fuck it. There's nothing more romanticized to the modern woman than the perfect dad. If they didn't grow up without a dad, they have this idea from television and movies of like the perfect dad. He never complains. He's never vulnerable. He always has the answer to everything. He never messes up. He never fails. He's always in shape. He's always handsome. He always has money. He's perfect. They never grew up with it, so they idolize this perfect dad, right? And that doesn't happen the other way around because most kids, no matter if it's divorce or not, grow up with their moms. So they never have to idolize the perfect mom because they have one. She's right there in front of them. And so when men show these women their vulnerability the first time, these women freak out. Dad's supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to not have vulnerabilities. You're supposed to be Superman, right?
It's hard because for women, they develop certain expectations of what they're looking for in a man based on their former interactions with their mom and their dad.
100%.
Set the benchmark.
100%.
If the dad isn't in the picture, then where are you going to get that expectation of what your man should be?
TV dad, book dad.
TV dad, book dad, or you date 1,850 different guys because this starts going up, red flag. This starts going up, red flag. So then you then become a serial dater.
Yep.
Literally your entire life.
Situationship is what they call it now.
Which is awful. I think that's an awful, awful thing. Being a situationship is what?
It's like you can put your dick inside me and risk pregnancy, but I am not going to be vulnerable around you and give you my heart. It's like, shit. Okay, every damn it.
Right.
I try not to get us in trouble, but this has to be the best time in America to be a scumbag. Wait. So you're telling me I can just have sex with you all I want, but never have to give you emotional reciprocation or any sort of like commitment? Fucking let's go. Yeah. Right? Like this has to be the peak time to be a scumbag and or serial killer.
Which is awful. It's awful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's horrific. But
I think so.
But it's lack of guidelines and parameters.
Standards.
Lack of standards. Agreed.
Standards, right? Like, hey, look, guys. I'm out of shape. I'm fat because of a lack of standards, right? Me and Jeff do not run. Jeff and I, got to be correct, punctual here. Jeff and I do not run from who we are and the mistakes and flaws that we have and possess. We don't. That does not stop us from understanding and seeing the flaws and mistakes of what's around us.
I love when we get comments on stuff, when we say something racy and they come back at us with physical attacks in the comments. I'm like, that has nothing to do with what we said.
It has nothing to do with what we said, but it's
nothing to do at all.
It's their cheat code. This is what I have found because I'm so involved in social media now. It's their cheat code. They will only listen to you if you're perfect, but they also don't believe that anybody's perfect. So they never have to listen to anybody. They've created a loop where they never have to learn, right? Dumb people have created a loop that they never have. I first saw it in real estate where I'm like, you understand by your logic, you're going to stay poor forever, right? By your own logic. That's what they do. You're not perfect. Who are you to say anything? Yeah. Okay, well, who's perfect then? Some people think their God is perfect, but you don't believe in religion, so you don't think nobody's perfect, right? It's a unique cycle. If you're watching this, listening to this, Jeff put it perfectly. He is imperfect, but he's perfect with his kids.
I love my kids perfectly.
I love my kids perfectly.
Yeah.
That's all we are. We're two guys who love our families perfectly. That's it. No more, no less. I learned the most, Jeff, watching other people's mistakes. Mm-hmm. Honestly, that's how I learn best, is watching other people's mistakes. It's why I'm always bringing you these TikTok clips and videos, right?
Love it.
Because TikTok allows me to see what millions of people think all at one time. And I get to go, ooh, I don't think that's good. I don't think situationships are good. I don't think kids growing up without fathers is good, right? Like we get to learn this at once. So please send us your mean comments.
Absolutely.
We're going to make a highlight reel of your mean comments.
Really should.
So please don't hold back. This is not me and Jeff begging you to hold back. In fact, say them.
Double down.
But never, if you're not a troll, if you're just a dude watching this, never think that Jeff and I in any way think that we've got everything figured out.
Absolutely.
Fuck no.
We're learning just along with everyone else. We're just in a fortunate position that we can come in and rent a podcast studio.
Yes.
And push our content out to people of what we're talking about. We're not perfect at all. Even close.
Yes. We have the gift of gab. We're able to articulate feelings and ideas that a lot of men have. And we're able to express them in a way that hopefully you guys find entertaining and educational.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
We'll stop.
Right? Jeff, If you could teach your younger self one thing about what to bring to the table in a relationship, right? Let's say you were able to jump back in your body at 16, 17, whatever your first relationship. Who was your first girlfriend? Like real girlfriend. I'm not like fifth grade holding hands.
My first real girlfriend was Jody Case in Canandaigua. Yeah.
How old were you?
I was a junior in high school and she was a freshman.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you could go back that time period and tell yourself one thing about how to be better in a relationship, what would it be?
Slow down.
Slow down.
Slow down.
Slow down.
And stop trying to be in a relationship to look good for everyone else. Slow down and look inward to what are you building with this person? And is it something that you're just it's a placeholder for the right person to come along?
Mm-hmm.
Or is this the person that really you want to be with forever?
Yeah.
That's what it is. A lot of times it's a placeholder. At that age, it's a placeholder. I mean, how many high school sweethearts do you, there's not a lot.
Yeah.
I know of one. No, three. Sorry, three of them I know that I went to Canandaigua with. But I think it's the biggest advice in terms of relationship with myself back then at 16-year-old Jeff, it's slow down. Just enjoy the moments with that person. Stop trying to overthink things. Stop trying to rush things to get to somewhere where you want it to be. Enjoy the here and now.
Yeah, that's good. Slow down. Enjoy it because once 24 hours goes by like 12 hours nowadays. Right? Once you're in the middle of it, 24 hours every day, my kid's older and it's just like, when did this all get so fast?
Yeah.
Slow down is really good advice.
How about you?
Advice for my younger self. Don't run from the duty. You ever watch Game of Thrones?
You just said duty.
I did a coffee joke again.
Sorry.
You ever watch Game of Thrones?
Oh, yeah. Several times.
And the whole show is about Jon Snow running from his duty, right? Who you're meant to be. You know who it is, and you run from it. You put a bunch of things in front of it, right? Anything. Just accept it. Accept who and what you're made for. You were made to be someone's father, someone's protector. You were made to die for another person. That is your mission in life. You are an oxen with a burden to bear.
Yep.
And it's light. That's the advice of my younger self. What did you just say? What the burden is heavy, the yoke is heavy, but the burden is light? That's the best advice I would give my younger self. Hey, the burden you have to carry, or the yoke is heavy, but that burden is light. You are stronger than you ever realized.
It's true.
100%.
And you don't know until you get through it. So
you won't know until you get through it. Oh my God. You don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know.
Until you're on the back end of it. Because when you're in it, you're like, my world's going to end.
Yeah.
This is horrific.
Yeah.
But then you get through it and you're like, oh.
Can I tell you a funny story about this?
Yeah, please.
So I've been going back to the gym starting in December of last year, right? You can't tell because, obviously I review food for a living. But I've been going to the gym. I just want to show my kid that we can be disciplined and do something every day, right? I want to demonstrate it. So there's this young cat at the gym. He knows me, right? He's in way better shape than me. And every day I saw him doing these marches where he holds his bell out and he just marches. It's like this ab workout.
God bless.
Lifting your knee.
God bless.
And one day I said, hey, can you do this with me? Like I want to do this. It looks hard and I obviously don't work my abs much. Can you do this? He goes, yeah, I'll show you. So we march, we go down the track. And I'm huffing and puffing. He's like, turn around, go back. I'm like, what? He's like, go back. I go back. I'm like, whoo, that was killer. How many times do we do this? He goes, 4. I said, oh, like they're back. He goes, no, there and back is 1. And I looked him dead in the face. I said, I can't do that shit. Are you crazy? He goes, how do you know? You've never done it before.
Yeah.
And I said, damn it. Here's some 20-year-old teaching me some shit that I should already know.
Awesome.
How do you know it's hard? You ain't never done. How do you know you can't do it? You ain't never done it before, right? And I think that perfectly surmises what being a dad is. How do you know it's hard? You ain't never done it before.
You got to get through it.
You got to get through it.
Here's another clip for you. If you work out at EOS Fitness on St. Rose over by Costco and Henderson, you're going to start to see little Dad Pod t-shirt Easter eggs getting left around. If you see that, pick it up, throw it on, take a picture of yourself, and tag us, and we'll give you an HR appropriate hug.
HR appropriate hug, not me. If you're a dude, only if you're a dude, I'm grabbing ass. All right, I'm getting deep in there.
I am not grabbing your ass. I'm not getting in 1,000 miles your ass. He said that. I did not say that.
Jeff, it is always a pleasure to sit here with you.
Love it.
You always make me think about something. You always help put something in my life into perspective. So I am forever grateful. Always.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It's fun. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.